Scott Morrison has emphasised safety needing to come first, and that's fine. But don't we need to hear at what point it will be safe to allow the borders to be reopened? Isn't that the point of the question?
I know the tourist industry are very interested in when the borders will be open again. Those people that want to travel to and from Australia to visit loved ones in other countries. The fact is that 73% of Australians have said they're quite happy to have the border closures at the moment. If we go back to the last Queensland state election and Western Australian elections, which they are overwhelmingly returned both Labor parties who kept the borders shut, and the people said they wanted that safety net. So anyway, it is up to the government. They're looking at, hopefully, opening up the borders by mid-next year, my understanding is, and they're looking at higher immigration levels, to return to the immigration levels. But unless they've got the security here in Australia to put those people coming back from overseas who may have COVID, tested positive for COVID, or isolating them, the borders have to remain closed. We have pandemics that are going on around the world. Businesses have now got back to opening up. People are getting their jobs back. That is the most important thing, that we keep Australians safe.
Well, what's your view, though? Because a lot of the countries are beginning to open up with the aid of being vaccinated. Once we get to a point where everyone's been offered a vaccination, is that the point at which we should open up? It's been very effective so far at preventing serious illness, and that was supposed to be the key.
Tom, there's also, it's unknown about the vaccinations that we are given. They're not really proven, they're not really tested. You've got different strains of COVID coming through, so we're going to have to, counteract that as well. Look, it's still unknown waters that we are in. Here you have the Wellcamp in Toowoomba. The Wagners, they want to open up the camp up there. They want to do a 1,000-bed facility. Now, the Prime Minister's been bloody minded about it, and he says, no, it's not going to happen. Now, this camp, exactly the same, has worked in the Northern Territory. They want to bring out the same person to run it in Toowoomba. It will not cost the taxpayers 1 cent, yet the Prime Minister said it's not going to happen. They will build it at their own cost, and the state government, Palaszczuk, is fully behind it. It could operate. That will give people the satisfaction of knowing that they are going to be safe, because hotel quarantine hasn't always worked. So I say to the Prime Minister, why are you so bloody minded about not allowing the camp to go ahead in Toowoomba when that's what people want, at no expense to the taxpayers, and it will work far better, and hotel quarantine? Not only that, by having hotel quarantine, it ties up 300 police in just hotel quarantine. Another cost and expense to the taxpayer of around about $250,000. So why isn't he agreeing to it?
I want to follow up on hotel quarantine in a moment, but you mentioned there amongst your answer as well, we don't know much about the vaccine in terms of the testing. We had a lot of initial testing, but it's now being rolled out to millions, tens of millions of people right around the world, and all the evidence in so far is it's really effective at stopping people getting ill, quite effective at stopping people even passing it on, and also that it's been effective against variants we've seen so far. Do you see it as the key to opening up or not?
It is a start, by all means. We can't keep our country shut down. We do need the people coming to Australia. We need tourism. We need the students coming here from overseas. We do need to open up business people coming here as well. And people should have the freedom to travel around the world if they so wish. But I just feel that let's make sure we get it right. We can't have another closure of the country we did as it was a year ago. Businesses will not be able to go through it again. They struggled through that. We don't have the finances to prop everyone up to that extent for an unknown quantity of time. It's had a big impact on people's jobs, their livelihoods, their homes, their well-being, students in the classroom. So I'd just rather make sure we get it right. Don't rush into it. Make sure that we are going to keep people safe and secure.
On hotel quarantine, so you've accused the Prime Minister of being bloody-minded. He has spoken today and been very keen on the Victorian proposal, not on the Queensland one. So it's not as if the government's against more quarantine facilities. Doesn't this just show there are different proposals and one might be a lot better than the other?
Well, it's not, because the one that's been proposed in Toowoomba by the Wagners is based on what's happening in the Northern Territory, which has been very successful. These are kept away. They don't have to travel through the public whatsoever. All they need is the federal government to say, OK, the planes can land there, and then they go straight into the facility. Is he being political? Is it because it's Palaszczuk? Is it because it's a Labor government? You know, I don't know the answers to this. He's the only one who can answer this. So what I'm saying is, why doesn't he, if it's not going to cost the taxpayers any money, not $1, then why doesn't he just open it up so that people, if we do open up the borders next year, facilities have to be operating, working. There is no way in the wide world those people coming overseas that possibly could have the COVID will be allowed to go into, you know, cities, into hotel quarantine, which has not always worked. So I'd say have a good look at it, and I fully support the Wellcamp putting up this facility in Toowoomba.
So you said it's exactly the same as the Northern Territory facility. That one is obviously federally government run. The Wagner's one in Toowoomba would be run, we don't know exactly by who, but for private profit. The Wagners have said they want to make this idea work for capitalism's sake. That's a key difference, isn't it?
That is, no, you see, there's no problem with that whatsoever. Even if people go into hotel quarantine, they have to pay for their own accommodation in the hotels. Excuse me. So who's making profits out of that? It's about running a facility that is in the best interest for the people. And when taxpayers have to fund this constantly, you know, that's where the cost comes, all the states. Now, the fact is that if you've got a commercial enterprise here that they want to fund it themselves to build it, that may be at their loss. You never know. It may not work. You may not have a lot of people that will come in and utilise the facility. But when they want to set up this structure, put it there, no cost to the federal government, why wouldn't he? Why would he knock it? I can't see it. And the person that ran it in Northern Territory, they will get her to come over and run the one in Toowoomba. I can't see any problem with it. Tom, I'm always looking at what is going to be the cost to the taxpayer, all right? The cost. There's no cost. I also look at it, will it be beneficial? Will it work? I have no doubt it will. So why is he being, again, I'll say it, why is he so bloody minded? Give me an answer why you are opposing it.
Perhaps, well, he has also said partly of the distance to a major hospital, the Brisbane one, but look, perhaps you'll have discussions and let us know next time. Can I just ask you finally and briefly, Senator, superannuation legislation, parts of the crossbench gearing up to oppose or amend this. One Nation's position is so far undecided. Which way are you leaning? Are there problems with the legislation?
Look, we are having ongoing negotiations, and I just spoke to the Minister last week, Jane Hume, and her advisors with regard to this. I put up superannuation proposals or amendments to their legislation previously. I've had no response back from them. I wanted costings from the Treasury. We are completely ignored him from Josh Frydenberg's office. So if you want me to actually look at your legislation, I expect to have the answers given to me, and I won't, just say yes or no. We always fully investigate legislation, and I want to make sure it's in the best interest for the Australian people. There are aspects of it, I think it's very good by all means, and I think there are a lot of merit in it, but that's in their budget last time, that one of allowing those of retirement age to put money into their superannuation funds, that was a One Nation initiative, a One Nation policy, mine, that the government took up.